All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a ZVP for you in our next matchup. The starting map is going to be Metropolis, and our Zerg is none other than Mini Razor, who will be going up against Socke. So, a pretty cool game in the round of 16. Don't forget, we still have a round of 8 and a round of 4 to go before we decide on our two qualifiers to the round of straight into the round of 16 of I-47 with that prize money, a travel stipend, and the hotel accommodation as well. So let's see which of these players is able to advance to the round of 8. This is a best of 3. I'm Jarisar. Let's get into the game. All right, guys, spawning over here in the left-hand position on Metropolis, we have our red Zerg player. What will he be able to do against his very famous Protoss opponent? We'll find out in just a second. A very skilled player himself. He is Mini Razor. And his opponent spawning in the right-hand position, guys, as the blue Protoss player representing ATN, we have Socke, one of Europe's finest Protosses, making a pretty good tear as well at MLG Anaheim as well. So, super cool to see him in this particular tournament, and I hope he is able to go far. But only one of these guys can go far, sadly, and Mini Razor is a really cool dude. It would be great to see him deep into the bracket as well. One of these guys, of course, has to get knocked out in this best of 3. So in the meantime, let's check out what kind of strategies are on the table here. We actually see Socke going for the pylon on the low ground, so this is pretty indicative of that Forge Fast Expand. He might go Nexus first if he is feeling comfortable doing that. And it looks like he's just going to be scouting the close-by air positions first, and we'll very, very shortly find out that his opponent is actually completely cross positions. Mini Razor now getting his pull down as well. Socke immediately scouting that there's no creep. Very efficient with his scouting, just pokes up, sees that there's no creep near the minerals, and just moves straight on out. Does not even wait. Really good attention to detail there on the mini-map, and that potentially can save a second or two. And a second or two, you never know. If, for example, a super early pool is coming, that's going to be very useful. A second or two's worth of scouting time. And is this hatch going to go down? I think it is. Yes, it does. So Socke unable to block the hatchery. The pool is about to finish as well, so any potential pylon shenanigans are going to be somewhat limited in their capacity right now, as Socke has got the Nexus down, and he is going to get that down before the Forge. Another pylon going down behind it. Now note, there's actually a gap here between the Forge and the pylon, so obviously he's planning a very particular type of SimCity on this map. That is not a mistake coming out of Socke. Or if it is, that would be really uncharacteristic, but I don't really see Protosses make mistakes in Wall-Off, so things are looking fine. In the meantime, there we go. Gateway going down on this side of the Force. It looks like the gap is going to exist right here indeed, and a Photon Cannon going down behind as well. So things looking fairly watertight here. The probe is just going to be parking itself between the Forge and the Pylon. First gas coming down now for Socke in his main base, and we have the third base already completing for Mini Razor, as 4 Lings going to be scouting the area behind the mineral line, and we'll see that Socke still actually has a probe there. Just going to be moving out of the way with that, no problemo whatsoever. And yeah, it looks like things are just going to be stabilizing into a fairly normal PvZ, guys. We have Gateway just popping up for Socke. Nothing out of the ordinary here. No gases being taken yet from Mini Razor, of course, because he just wants to drone up like absolute madness itself. And Socke now starting his cybernetics core behind this pylon. And that's just a little bit more sheltered than, say, if he put his cybernetics core here and if you put the gateway there, for example, because then if you accidentally get the cybernetics core picked off, you cannot produce any additional stalkers, which could be super, super frustrating if you're trying to hold some sort of sneaky timing attack or all in. So I'm not wanting to put that on the front lines there one bit. Drones now being transferred to the natural expansion. And things looking pretty chilled out here on that side of the map for Mini Razor. In the meantime, Socke also just allowing his opponent to be at the moment. We have a couple of Zerglings trying to do a little bit of scouting. And they will get zoned out by the Zealot here briefly. And not too much else happening at this point in the game, guys. Another round of 8 drones coming up from Mini Razor to take his work supply to 36, which conveniently also matches Socke at this point, who is going for the ground weapons level 1. Some Lings still at the front of the base. I like how Mini Razor is being really diligent with these Lings, actually. Constantly moving them forward to see what kind of timing Socke is going to have coming out of the base, and knowing if there are any units popping up. So he knows that there's a Zealot out on the field at the moment, of course, managing to pick off a Ling actually at the watchtower there. But these Lings are worth their weight in gold in terms of potentially scouting a attack or a probe, maybe, that's coming out to try and plant a sneaky pylon. So now it looks like with the first Stalker out, Socke is going to be able to chase these Lings away. One is going to try and run in to get a bit of a scout up, but the cannon is definitely going to deny him that. 20 Lings now on the way from Mini Razor, so this could potentially be the start of an attack, or he might just want to defend against anything that Socke wants going for him. He did, of course, see that all his Lings got taken out, so he wants to make sure it's not masking some sort of massive attack, perhaps. 16 Lings and 4 Roaches on the way now for our Zerg player. We also have Speed on the way, in addition to the Evo Chamber, which is almost complete. And a pylon going out for Socke at his watchtower. And this will actually amuse the production crew and the admins, but I'm actually slightly alarmed because I smell smoke. So I'm hoping someone's cooking in the kitchen. Otherwise, the lights above my head, which I'm using for the first time today, by the way, may have malfunctioned. But I will let you guys know if anything decides to catch on fire on my end very, very shortly indeed. We have got +1 armor and 2 Spore Crawlers popping out now as Mini Razor trying to stop the forward pylons going down in the middle of the map, doing a good job of that particular one with some Roaches and Lings, but a lot of stuff is being warped in now for Socke, who is trying to make this attack stick. 64 supply versus 93 at the moment. If Mini Razor can sort of rally together a whole bunch of troops and maybe connect his base, that's exactly what he's going to try and do, actually immediately pick apart these rocks so that all of the larvae can get made into units and therefore group together, and it looks like he's just going to have to do things the old-fashioned way, straight head on. The other Lings are going to be coming out at the back as well. Is this going to be enough? 88 supply to 72 at the moment, and Socke only has Stalkers left, which is great for Mini Razor for now, because that means the Zealots aren't going to be able to completely take apart the Zerglings. Is this going to be enough? And I have confirmation that the burning smell was not actually the lights above my head. It was, in fact, soup. I have just been served soup, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like the chef has saved esports. In the meantime, that +1 for the Zealots is going to complete. That's going to be really useful against those... really useful against Lings as well, just able to take a decent amount of damage and absorb more as they move forward. It looks like he's going to try and pick apart this third base. He might even be able to do so because the only units that are coming in from Mini Razor are rather staggered at the moment, and coming in from behind the Spine Crawler does go down. And only Roaches are left here with a decent-sized army still left for Socke. So has Mini Razor committed too many of his larvae to units that ended up getting destroyed in this attack? Oh, and even a Queen out in the middle of the field, taking her frustration out on some destructible debris, but it's not going to be enough. And Mini Razor, GG's out. Wow, so Socke going to be taking a 1-0 lead in this best of 3. All right, so could things have been done differently? I'm not sure. We might have to go back through the replay to take a look. But I thought Mini Razor held the first half of that push quite well, actually. I mean, we had the Lings surround on the Stalkers, for example, before Socke could get the Zealots warped in. So he was doing some pretty sweet damage there. And he had the Roaches to back up. And it looked like he was just about able to push Socke back. But then when Socke came in with round 2, Mini Razor decided to... I don't really know how to describe it. He sort of trickled units in from behind, and Socke was just able to pick apart a couple of units at a time, and that really whittles down your larva count when you need every single one to defend, and ideally you want to be keeping your army all together for that kind of thing. So unfortunately, Mini Razor going down a game there, but I think he won game number 1. Oh, pardon me, though, that was a different series where they won game number 1. That was his series against White, rather, we almost jumped into. So, yeah, so it looks like Socke is going to be winning that particular game. We'll be getting into the next one, guys, in just a moment. Don't go anywhere.